Welcome back, Turners. I'm so glad you could join me today in the shop. This is a bit rare for me. It's been quite warm in Southern California recently, and certainly not too tolerable in my unair-conditioned shop. It's kind of warm out here, and today is certainly no exception. However, I wanted to turn a bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to take this piece of California Peppertree, I believe it is. Another piece I had left over from a batch a while back. You can see I've already shaped it to round on the bandsaw. I've got a date on here. This was actually originally put out in my shed a little over 2.5 years ago. So, and when I cut that, that was a straight line on the bandsaw. So you can see as it dried, it moved quite a bit. So I expect it'll probably do that again as we're shaping it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make this into a wide, shallow bowl. I think I'll probably get 10 or 11 inch width out of it. I'm not going to make it too deep, but just kind of broad and shallow. So I've actually already gone ahead and on the back side put in the recess for mounting on my chuck. So let's take this to the lathe and get started. Well guys, that's a good thing I don't have to rotate the headstock. When this went oblong, it just barely clears the ways on the bed. So that's good news though. That means I can get started. Alright, Turners, I'm going to start out with my large bowl gouge to do the roughing. This is the one that PSI sells. It's a Benjamin's bust. It's what they sell is a 5/8 bowl gouge, and I'm guessing that's because the outside diameter of the shaft is 5/8. So I know there's a lot of debate on sizing of tools, but so if you're wondering, that's what that is. Benjamin's best 5/8. Let's get started. Okay, Turners, I have faced off what will be the upper edge of the bowl. So this is all going to get hollowed out. I've got to make my mortise or recess with my Forstner bit now. I've got a bit of a crack up here, so I'm not sure how much of that I'm going to have to take off. It's going to be somewhat of a shallow bowl. I'm not. Hopefully, I can maybe save some of this material and maybe fill that with something. We'll see how it goes. Let's keep going. Alright, Turners, I've got the blank reversed now. It's on my 6-jaw dovetailed chuck. So I'm going to now shape up the bottom following the natural edge. Got to see what's going to come of this knot here. Probably have to fill that too, but I'm going to give it some nice sweeping shape here. Finish this up with a foot and then flip it back around and do the hollowing. So here we go. Alright, Turners, well, I think you can see the overall shape that I'm going for here. See if I can fix this lighting a little. How's that? So it's got a nice shallow bowl shape going on. There's my foot. Okay. I'm going to have to obviously sand this up still and put some finish on it. This is the big problem at the moment, how I'm going to treat this knot. I think I'm going to use some black epoxy in here. I'm going to dye up some epoxy and put that in there to set up. Once that's done, I can finish this off with my scrapers and sand it, finish it, and then reverse it. So I'm going to take this one off and epoxy it right now. Okay, turners. Well, here's the results of the epoxy. So I think that'll turn out pretty good once it gets sanded up and polished. Here's the epoxy that I did on the rim. There's another one over here. So those will be hopefully integrated into the finished rim in what I hope is a not too obtrusive way. So I've got to at least finish this side. I'm going to get this mounted back up on the lathe. You'll notice I didn't take it off the chuck because I didn't want it to lose its positioning on the chuck. So it's still running true. Now all I got to do is, now I'm going to work my sanding. And then I'll finish this side before I flip it and start on the other side. Alright, turners, on this side I'm going to actually start with 120 grit and try to get a nice even finish on this. I'm going to do something decorative on the foot still. I haven't gotten there yet. But I'm going to go ahead and do the sanding first up through 600. So let's get started on that. Okay, turners, here's a little close-up of the detail that I just added to the bottom. Sorry about the bouncy camera, but so a little spiral cut and a couple of rings in there to set it off. So I don't think I'm going to do anything to the outside of this bowl. I don't think I want to add anything decorative out here. I'm going to let the wood speak for itself. So now I'm just going to sand and finish, and then we'll reverse. Alright, turners. Time for a little bit of Tripoli Ultra Shine and some Shallow Wax on there. And Sanding Sealer did a pretty good job. So we'll finish it and then reverse it. Alright guys, that Tripoli did a great job. This is nice and smooth. Gotta get some of it out of this little area down here. And now I can get to the Shallow Wax cream. For those of you that have been seeing me apply the Shallow Wax cream out of this little plastic bottle, this is not its original container, you probably guessed. But I was having a problem with it being in that little tub. I ended up just pouring it in here and it applies easier out of this bottle. So if you're having that issue, find yourself an old plastic bottle and see if that doesn't help. Here we go, guys. A little decoration in the bottom. Has a nice soft, not a gloss, but a kind of a satin finish from that Shallow Wax cream. Love it. Beautiful grain on there. Let's get this thing reversed. turners. Well, I started to define the rim of the bowl, and these cracks, which filled pretty good up here with the stained epoxy, didn't penetrate far enough, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of repair work up here with maybe a little bit more epoxy. So gotta take care of that. I'm going to put something a little decorative up here on the fine edge of this bowl, and we're going to just finish hollowing it out. Alright, turners. Well, there's about this much thickness in the bottom of that bowl right now. So that's about a 1/2 inch. I think, yeah, that's about 3/8 up on the edge. So it keeps a pretty good profile at 3/8 around the inside. You can see this is hollowed in a little bit. Keeps a pretty good thickness all the way until the bottom actually starts to slope this way a little bit, and this comes across kind of shallow, still a little hollowed, little concave in this area. So I'm good with that. So I'm going to go ahead and stop cutting at this point and move to sanding and finishing. Well, turners, here's the completed bowl. See the profile. It's got some nice grain on there. I like the Peppertree. It's got a nice contrast between the heartwood and the sapwood, and those little knots filled in nice. There's the bottom with my decoration and my signature. I also put on there, you know, what tree type it is, and the date of the turning completion. So again, it's a shallow bowl, and a good way for me to use up that Peppertree. So if you like the video, please give it a like. Remember to subscribe. These videos are always ad-free, and I try to keep them family friendly. So also check out my channel. I've got a lot of subscriptions to some other awesome wood turners and woodworkers out there. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you for the next one.